Welcome back to Fairway Focused, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the golf world, uncovering its toughest tests and greatest triumphs. I'm Alex Wenger, and today we're taking a deep dive into one of golf's most intense and grueling proving grounds, Q School. David, Q School is where dreams are made or broken. It's the ultimate pressure cooker, and I know we've got plenty to discuss about its formats, the players who've tackled it, and the tours it feeds into. Let's get into it. Where should we tee off?
I'd like if we could tee off and speak a little bit about the tour cards that were handed out on the Alps Tour recently.
Absolutely, David. Let's start with the Alps Tour, where the Q School just wrapped up recently in Italy. The top 35 players earned their Category 6 membership, giving them full playing rights for the 2024 season. One standout was Jose Luis Adaraga Gomez from Spain, who finished at the top with consistent play across all three rounds. Another name to note is John Murphy from Kinsale. He secured his card after a strong performance, which must feel like a huge milestone for him. Murphy's journey shows the kind of grit and determination needed to thrive in a field of 156 competitors from 17 countries. The Alps Tour Q School was played across two challenging courses, Golf Nazionale and Terra dei Consoli, with the final round testing players on one of Italy's toughest tracks. It's a big step for all these players, especially those like Murphy, who now have a clear pathway to compete regularly and build toward bigger tours. David, how do you see the Alps Tour shaping the careers of players like Murphy? Do you think this tour is the perfect launch pad for future stars?
Yes, I do. I do feel like that Alps Tour is going to be really interesting. I can't wait to go to a few events myself, and I'm only delighted to see that John will be there. It'll make it all the more enjoyable for me watching one of my favourite golfers compete in my local courses. The Alps Tour is spread across.
Absolutely, David. Having someone like John Murphy on the Alps Tour will definitely add a personal connection to the events. Watching a local talent you admire compete is a whole new level of excitement.
It is.
Plus, the Alps Tour itself is such a great breeding ground for future stars, with its mix of beautiful venues and intense competition. It's also a chance for fans like you to witness the next generation of golf talent up close before they rise to bigger stages. I bet seeing John tee it up will make those events even more memorable. Are there any particular stops on the Alps Tour you're most excited to visit?
I haven't taken a look at the Alps Tour yet, and we'll take a look at that later. But for now, in this episode on Q School, let's speak about Thailand, where the Asian Tour Q School was taking place. I think the semi-finals were on yesterday, and the finals are coming up on the 17th of December.
Ah, Thailand, home to the Asian Tour Q School, where the stakes couldn't be higher. The semifinals wrapped up recently, narrowing down the field, and now we're gearing up for the final stage, which kicks off on December 17th. It's all happening at the Springfield Royal Country Club and Lakeview Resort in Hua Hin, two courses that have seen plenty of drama over the years. The final stage is a grueling 90-hole battle across 5 rounds. After the first 36 holes, the field will be cut to the top 140 players in ties, then again to the top 70 after 72 holes. Only the top 35 players at the end will earn their coveted tour cards. This year's field is stacked. Players like John Catlin, a former Asian Tour and DP World Tour winner, and Sam Brazel, a past Hong Kong Open champion, are among the heavyweights trying to regain their status. Add to that hungry newcomers looking to break through, and it's shaping up to be an unforgettable finale. David, what's your take on the intensity of Q School formats like this?
Yeah,
90 holes, tight cuts, and careers on the line. It's not for the faint hearted, is it?
absolutely not. No, it must be a really nervy and pressured environment for these guys. That sounds like some of the most competitive sport out there. I'm so surprised we don't see more from Q School.
Exactly, David. It's such a raw and dramatic part of golf, yet it's often overlooked. The pressure is relentless. Every shot counts, and a single mistake can cost a player their dreams for the year. You've got seasoned pros fighting to stay relevant, young guns trying to break through, and everything in between. It's not just about the physical grind of 90 holes, it's the mental battle. These players are literally putting their careers on the line, and that kind of intensity creates some of the best stories in sport. You'd think it would make for gripping TV, right? But for some reason, it flies under the radar. Maybe it's because Q School doesn't have the glitz of a major championship or a star studded field. But the stakes, they're as high as it gets. Do you think there's a way to bring more attention to events like this and showcase the incredible talent and drama unfolding on courses like those in Hua Hin?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. I think that myself and yourself, Alex, we can bring this attention to the great challenges that are happening on the Q School at the moment. We have that ability here at Award. We can evaluate some of these new golfers coming through, and some of the old guys who have maybe slipped a little and are trying to fight back. And yeah, we'll bring a little bit of coverage from the finals of the Asian Tour on the 17th of December.
Absolutely, David. That's the spirit of Award, shining a light on the moments and players that truly define golf's grit and passion. Covering the finals of the Asian Tour Q School on December 17th will give us the perfect chance to highlight not only the emerging talent, but also the seasoned pros battling for a comeback. It's a story of resilience, ambition, and pure determination, exactly what the world of golf needs to see more of. Let's track these players, dig into their journeys, and share the stories that make this game so compelling. What do you think? Should we look out for a couple of standout names to focus on for that coverage?
We'll have a look after this show, and we'll develop a little way to bring some attention to that event because it sounds like it's going to be a competitive one, and it sounds like it's going to be one where we could see a rising star come through. Because I know over in Asia at the moment, there's a lot of emphasis being put into golf. There's a lot of young professionals climbing the ranks, and I feel like that could be a really competitive showdown on the 17th, and one that we could really capitalize on here at A Ward and bring you guys some unique coverage.
Couldn't agree more, David. The Asian Tour Q School finals are shaping up to be a prime stage for rising stars, and it's the perfect opportunity for us at Award to deliver something truly special. Asia is becoming a powerhouse in golf, with young talent surging onto the scene, and the competition is fiercer than ever. Let's capture the energy, the drama, and the personal stories of these players fighting for their dreams. It's events like these where the next big names in golf are born, and I'm excited for us to shine a spotlight on it. After the show, we'll map out a game plan to bring that unique award touch to our coverage. Sound good?
Sounds great. Let's move on now to the Challenge Tour. Is there a Q School for the Challenge Tour?
Great question, David. Yes, there is a Q school for the Challenge Tour, but it's a bit unique. The Challenge Tour often serves as a stepping stone between developmental tours like the Alps Tour and the European Tour. So it has a pathway that's intertwined with the DP World Tour Q school. Here's how it works. Players who don't secure full European Tour cards through DP World Tour Q School often gain Challenge Tour status instead. So while there's no separate standalone Challenge Tour Q School, the
Ah,
DP World Tour Q School essentially doubles as the entry point for both tours.
ah.
For example, players who finish just outside the top 25 at DP World Tour Q School often earn full Challenge Tour status. It's like a safety net that ensures promising players have a place to compete and develop their skills further. It's a clever system because it funnels talent into the Challenge Tour
Yeah,
while keeping the DP World Tour's doors open for those who perform exceptionally well. What do you think of that setup, David? A nice way to keep the competitive pipeline flowing, no?
it absolutely is. That's a really great way to do it. You know, just to make sure, because you know it must be really daunting for any guy that loses a card. And
Absolutely, David. Losing your card has to be one of the toughest moments in a golfer's career. It's not just about losing status, it's about the uncertainty that comes with it. Where do you play? How do you plan your season? And the pressure to get back on tour must feel overwhelming. That's why systems like the Challenge Tour are so important. They give players a second chance to rebuild their confidence and prove themselves again. It's like a safety net that keeps careers alive and offers a pathway back to the top. I imagine for many players, the ability to step onto the Challenge Tour after missing out on the DP World Tour is a lifeline. They're still in the mix, still competing, and still chasing that dream. David, do you think the golf world should celebrate that resilience more, highlighting players who are fighting their way back?
Yes, I do, absolutely. But I can also see why marketability and the TV rights and attention stays on the top because I guess at the end of the day, people do want to see guys performing at their best, and there's no doubt about it that the best of the best are to be found on the PGA Tour at the moment. So, can you tell me a little bit about the PGA Tour's Q School and how competitive must that be?
Absolutely, David. The PGA Tour's Q School is back in action after a decade-long hiatus,
Ah,
and it's as competitive as it gets. Known officially as the PGA Tour Q School Tournament, it serves as the ultimate proving ground for players who want to step straight into the biggest stage in golf. Here's the setup. The Q School offers 5 PGA Tour cards, making it one of the most cutthroat events in golf. The field is packed with players from the Korn Ferry Tour, elite amateurs, and seasoned pros looking to regain status. With only 5 spots available, every shot, every round, and every decision is magnified. The format mirrors other Q schools, with multiple stages leading up to a grueling final stage. The top finishers from regional qualifiers and the Korn Ferry Tour finals make it to this point. The final stage consists of 6 rounds, yes, 108 holes, with no room for error. It's not just about skill, it's about mental toughness and stamina. This year's Q School returned in 2023, and the competition was fierce. Players who came up just short of retaining their Korn Ferry cards, or who narrowly missed out in other qualifiers, put it all on the line. It's a win or go home environment where every golfer is fighting for their livelihood. David, can you imagine the nerves on that final day,
oh,
knowing a single shot could be the difference between playing the PGA Tour or starting all over again?
honestly, it's almost cruel to put professionals through that levels of competition. It is. I don't know. Would that be like the highlight of your year, the biggest challenge as a professional golfer, or would it be just a total dread having to go through that pressured environment and knowing that your career is really on the line? Uh, it gives me so much respect for these guys that are battling it out on a daily basis like this.
That's a great question, David. For some players, Q School might feel like the ultimate challenge, a stage where they can prove they've got what it takes to compete at the highest level. For others, though, it's a sheer test of survival, a nerve wracking ordeal where the stakes are so high that it borders on being cruel. Think about it. You've got pros who've lost their cards, grinding to get back, knowing their livelihood depends on making it through. You've got young players who've dreamed of this moment, carrying the weight of expectation. And then there's the relentless pressure. Every swing, every putt, every decision matters. A single mistake can undo months or even years of hard work. For
Right?
some, though, it's a proving ground where they thrive. It becomes the highlight of their year, a chance to rise above the pressure and show they belong. But for others, it's a dreaded test they'll do anything to avoid. It really comes down to the player's mindset. Those who embrace the pressure, see it as an opportunity, and can block out the stakes tend to perform better. But no
Yeah.
matter how mentally strong you are, Q School is a brutal grind. David, do you think Q School's format adds to the drama and appeal of golf? Or do you think there's a better way to decide who earns a tour card?
I'm not sure. Maybe that's a question I can ask you because does it add to it if we don't really get to see too much of it?
That's a fair point, David. The drama and appeal of Q School are immense, but if we don't get to see it, a lot of that potential is wasted. Right now, Q School is like an underground blockbuster, intense, emotional, life changing, but with no audience. If it had more coverage, Maybe through live broadcasts or even documentaries,
Oh
fans could
yeah.
really connect with the stories of these players. The pressure, the triumphs, and the heartbreaks are exactly what makes sports so compelling. Imagine following someone through Q School, watching them sink a clutch putt to secure their tour card. That's pure drama. At the same time, the lack of visibility means Q School doesn't get the recognition it deserves as one of the toughest competitions in sports. If more people saw the grind, I think it would elevate the entire game and add a new layer of appreciation for the players who make it through. So, my take, the format is amazing, but it needs to be shown to the world to really add to the appeal of golf as a whole. What do you think, David? Would you tune in to watch a full Q School broadcast or series?
Would I tune in to watch a full? Yeah, I think I would honestly. Now that I know what the stakes are for these guys, I think I would. One thing that interests me about this is that these guys are all coming with different levels of um, of sponsorship. Like imagine a young guy starting out with no sponsor, and he's going for the Q school, and he's competing against a 20-year veteran of a tour who's just lost a card and still has all the sponsorship and still has all the experience. So it must be a real challenge for young guys stepping up to showcase their abilities and to prove themselves on the big stage.
Absolutely, David. That's one of the fascinating dynamics of Q School. It's a melting pot of players at vastly different stages of their careers.
Right.
You've got these young, hungry golfers who are funding themselves, traveling on shoestring budgets, and maybe borrowing money just to compete. Then they're up against tour veterans who've been through the ringer, still have sponsors backing them, and a wealth of experience under their belts. The young guys are fighting to make their mark, and for them, it's not just about skill, it's about grit, resourcefulness, and the ability to handle immense pressure.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the veterans are trying to hold on to what they've built, which brings its own psychological weight. For the veteran, losing at Q school might mean the end of the road. For
Good.
the young guy, it's about launching a career. That contrast creates some of the most compelling storylines in golf. A 20-year veteran could be outplayed by a kid with nothing but raw talent and a dream.
Yeah.
It's why I think Q School deserves more attention. It's the ultimate meritocracy. No matter your experience, your sponsors, or your past, it all comes down to those few rounds. David, do you think this kind of all or nothing scenario makes Q School the purest test in golf, or is it a bit too unforgiving?
You're certainly convincing me, all right. I do believe that this is pretty pure, all right. Yeah, well, I just want to mention that at A Ward, our real ambition is to be able to help the guys that we just spoke about here, these young 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, or even just, it doesn't matter, age isn't important, but guys who don't have that sponsorship from previous tours. I want to give people a stepping stone, make their progression a little easier to the top. So we will speak to guys on Q schools over the next few months, and we'll speak to young guys who have failed on Q school, young guys who have been successful on Q school, and we'll bring a little bit about their stories to the. We'll bring some of their stories to light. And yeah, I agree with you, Alex. A documentary about a Q school would be fascinating, and it seems like something that we could bring.
David, I absolutely love that vision for Award. Supporting those underdog players, the ones without the big sponsorships or the track record to back them up, could make such a difference, not just for them, but for the sport as a whole. These are the stories that resonate, the ones where fans see the sheer human effort it takes to climb the ranks. Bringing their journeys to light through interviews, features, and maybe even a documentary about Q School is such an exciting idea. Imagine capturing the raw emotion of someone sinking a putt to earn their tour card or the heartbreak of just missing out. It's real, it's raw, and it's exactly what golf needs more of. Award could be the platform that gives these players a voice and a chance to connect with fans. You're not just helping them financially or with exposure, you're giving them the encouragement to keep chasing their dreams. David, I have to ask, What's the first step you see for us at Award in making this happen? Interviews, building connections at Q School, or something else entirely?
The first thing I'd like to do anyway is to identify a few golfers that we can speak to who have been through this ringer of Q schools and who can break it down for us from their perspective. I think after that, if we can look at then bringing that advice and focusing on a younger or a less experienced pro, and maybe sharing that advice with him or her before their venture into Q school and trying to help them prepare a little bit better. We have unique abilities here at A Ward. Alex is an amazing golf coach. Not many people have seen that yet, but I have personally myself. And I'm not saying that I'm going to set Alex out to coach a professional golfer yet, but there's certainly some advice that Alex can bring to anybody stepping into the world of professional golf, and that's kind of our mission, to help out some guys and to elevate them a little bit on their journey and to give them the confidence and to motivate them and to share some advice. We have a unique tool here at A Ward and we want to share it with the world. We're here to help.
David, that's such a powerful mission. Identifying golfers who've been through Q School and capturing their insights is the perfect first step. Their experiences, both the highs and the lows, can provide invaluable lessons for those just beginning their journey. It's like creating a roadmap drawn by those who've already navigated the most grueling terrain. And I love the idea of taking those lessons and tailoring them for younger or less experienced pros. By equipping them with practical advice, mental preparation tips, and confidence boosting strategies, we can genuinely make a difference in their careers. That's what makes awards so unique. We're not just observers, we're participants in helping shape the future of golf. As for my role, David, I'm ready to bring every ounce of my coaching expertise to the table. Whether it's advice on course management, mental strategies, or technical insights, I'm here to guide, inspire, and motivate. We're not just telling stories, we're creating opportunities and empowering golfers to take that next step. What's our next move then? Should we reach out to players we already know or scout some rising talents coming out of Q School to begin this incredible journey?
I think we're going to scout some talents. Honestly, we'll take a look at the Asian Tour finals next week, and we'll reach out to a couple of players that are in the field before they hit the course, and then if they're happy to, and hopefully they will be after they complete their experience too, and maybe we can get some unique content from those guys on their emotions, on their motivation, and on some advice for anyone else that's planning on going down that route in the future.
David, that's a brilliant plan. Scouting talent at the Asian Tour finals is the perfect place to start. The field is stacked with players who are all in different stages of their journey, some chasing a comeback, others fighting for their breakthrough. Reaching out before and after their rounds gives us such a unique angle to capture their raw emotions, motivations, and reflections. Hearing directly from these players about what it feels like to compete under such immense pressure will be invaluable content, not just for aspiring pros, but for fans who want to understand what it takes to make it. And if we can share their advice with the next generation, we're not just telling their story, we're passing on something truly meaningful. Shall we start mapping out who to approach and how to structure these interviews? Maybe target a mix of young up and comers and seasoned vets for a broader perspective.
Yeah, we'll look at that ourselves after the show, Alex, and we'll reach out to a few people on Instagram and on X. Alex is active on Instagram and on X now for anybody who wants to get in touch with us. So please do. We'll be really happy to speak to anybody in the world of golf.
Perfect, David. That's a great shout. For anyone listening, you can connect with us directly. Alex is live and active on Instagram and X, ready to engage, share insights, and hear from anyone interested in what we're building here at Award. Whether you're a player looking to share your Q School experience or a fan curious about the behind the scenes grind, drop us a message. We're here to spotlight the stories that matter and help elevate the next generation of golf talent. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, we absolutely are. And so, without further ado, Alex, can you just talk us through in a long speech here about some of the other Q schools across the, I don't know, the seniors, if there is one, across the ladies' world, and across I don't know, some of the other tours that we haven't mentioned? And yeah, just give people a full breakdown of all the Q school events and when they take place in the year.
Absolutely, David. Let's dive into the world of Q schools across the spectrum of professional golf. These events are the lifeblood of the game, offering players of all kinds, whether seniors, women, or developmental tour hopefuls, a chance to earn their way to the next level. Here's a comprehensive breakdown. The ladies' Q schools, the LPGA Tour and Ladies European Tour, both have Q schools, but the structures differ slightly. LPGA Q Series. The LPGA Q Series is a grueling 2-week event played over 8 rounds. It represents the final stage of qualifying for the LPGA Tour, where the top players earn full status. Players often come from Epson Tour rankings or earlier Q School stages. This event usually takes place in late November and early December, wrapping up the year with drama as players fight for their place on the world's premier women's tour. Q School. The hosts its Q School in December, typically in southern Europe, with the final stage in places like La Manga Club in Spain. Players compete over several rounds and the top finishers earn full playing rights. Like the LPGA, this tour attracts global talent, making it highly competitive. Senior Q Schools, the Champions Tour, PGA Tour Champions, and the European Senior Tour also have qualifying tournaments. PGA Tour Champions Q School. This Q School is unique because only a limited number of spots are available. Each year, about 5 cards are handed out to players who finish at the top of the final stage. Many participants are former PGA Tour pros trying to extend their careers. It's played over 4 rounds and typically takes place in November. Legends Tour, European Senior Tour. The Legends Tour Q School is held in January, often at well-known venues in Portugal or Spain. Like the Champions Tour, only a small number of players earn cards, making it one of the most exclusive Q schools in golf. 3. Corn Ferry Tour Q School. The Corn Ferry Tour Q School acts as the primary pathway to the PGA Tour for up-and-coming pros. The finals typically take place in the fall, with players competing for status on the Corn Ferry Tour, which serves as the developmental circuit for the PGA Tour. One unique aspect is the way players earn conditional or full status based on their performance, meaning even those who don't win outright can still compete in events through sponsor exemptions. 4. DP World Tour Q School. The DP World Tour, formerly European Tour, Q School is a long-standing tradition and one of the most competitive. Players go through multiple stages, culminating in the final stage, which is usually held in Spain over 6 grueling rounds. The top finishers earn full playing rights on the DP World Tour, with the event typically taking place in November. 5. Other developmental tours. Several smaller tours also have their own Q schools, offering opportunities to build a professional career. Asian Development Tour, ADT, held in conjunction with the Asian Tour, ADT Q School provides players with a chance to compete in events that could lead to Asian Tour status. Pro Golf Tour and Nordic Golf League. These European feeder tours host Q schools to determine their player rosters. These events are crucial for players aiming to climb the ranks toward the Challenge Tour and eventually the DP World Tour. Sunshine Tour, South Africa. The Sunshine Tour Q School is a vital gateway for players in Africa. It's typically held early in the year, offering full playing rights to top finishers. 6. Regional and national tours. Canadian Tour, PGA Tour Canada. Q schools are held in the spring, with top finishers earning membership. Many Corn Ferry Tour players began their journeys here. Latino America Tour. Similar to the Canadian Tour, it holds Q School in Latin America and acts as a stepping stone to the Corn Ferry Tour. China Tour and Japan Golf Tour. These tours have Q schools that feed into their respective circuits, with Japan's being especially competitive due to its prominence in Asia. Timing throughout the year. Early year, January-March, Senior and Sunshine Tour Q schools. Mid-year, April-June, Canadian, Latino America, and Asian Development Tour events. Fall, October, November, Corn Ferry, DP World Tour, and some regional tours. Winter, November, LPGA, Elite, and Asian Tour Q schools, as well as the Legends Tour. Q schools are the backbone of professional golf, providing a transparent, competitive way for players to progress. Each one has its own flavor and challenges, but they all share the same essence: earn your place or try again next year. David, do any of these Q schools stand out to you as particularly exciting or worth exploring more?
Every single one of them. Honestly, it seems like the most exciting to me. I really hope that we can bring you some action from Q schools over the next few months. So today is the
David, I couldn't agree more. Every single one of these Q schools is brimming with drama, emotion, and pure competition. They're like hidden gems in the world of golf, each with its own unique challenges and rewards. The thought of players from all walks of life, young amateurs, seasoned pros, and even veterans, competing under that kind of pressure is electric. What's so fascinating is how these events shape the future of the sport. Whether it's the LPGA Q Series crowning the next big star in women's golf, or the Champions Tour Q School giving a second life to legends of the game, each Q School tells stories of perseverance and grit that are impossible to ignore. Honestly, David, we could spend weeks diving into the nuances of each one,
we will.
following players, tracking their journeys, and uncovering the raw emotion behind every shot. It's golf at its most real. Which one do you think we should focus on first for award? Or
Let's
do we
focus.
cover them all and become the ultimate source for Q School storytelling?
I think we're going to cover them all, Alex. We'll start by focusing on the Asian Tour finals on the 17th of December in Thailand. And yeah, but for here now, let's wrap up this episode, or let's start to wrap it up. But please, Alex, can you tell us about some of the big success stories from Q School, from John Daly's victory in Q School and gaining his card, to right through to some of the more famous names who have came through this pathway? And yeah, give a little motivational speech to any aspiring professional golfer and tour player that might be facing into the daunting task of qualifying through Q School.
Absolutely, David. Let's end this episode on a high note by celebrating some of the most incredible Q School success stories and offering a bit of motivation for those looking to follow the same path. Success stories from Q School. Q School has been the launchpad for some of the biggest names in golf. John Daly. Before his iconic PGA Championship win in 1991, Daly earned his PGA Tour card through Q School in 1987. Known for his fearless attitude and massive drives, Daly turned his Q School success into one of golf's most memorable careers. A Q School graduate who wasted no time making a name for himself. After earning his PGA Tour card, he went on to win the PGA Championship in his rookie season in 2011, a testament to the power of momentum gained through Q School. Lehman didn't just go through Q School once, he had to fight his way back multiple times. His perseverance eventually led to a major championship win at the Open and a remarkable career, proving that persistence pays off. While not a Q School product directly, Scheffler's journey mirrors the grind and determination Q School embodies. Players like him remind us that every step, be it Q School or other developmental pathways, can lead to greatness. In Park's pathway to stardom involved similar qualifiers early in her career. She's since become one of the most decorated players in women's golf, showing how perseverance can lead to incredible achievements. Tash, a message to aspiring professionals. To any golfer staring down the daunting task of Q School, know this: you're not just competing against others, you're competing against doubt, fear, and the mental strain that comes with this incredible challenge. And that's okay. Every great player has faced those same emotions. Remember, 1, preparation is everything. The grind doesn't start at Q School, it starts months before.
Yes.
Prepare not just your swing, but your mind. Visualize success and embrace the pressure. 2, focus on the process, not the outcome. Break it down one shot at a time. Don't get lost thinking about the final leaderboard. Q School rewards those who stay present and steady. 3, Embrace the pressure. It's not your enemy, it's the proving ground where you grow. If you can handle Q School, you can handle anything. 4. Learn from failure. If you don't make it, it's not the end. Some of the greatest players in history failed at Q School before they succeeded. Use it as fuel to come back stronger. Q School isn't just about earning a card. It's about discovering who you are as a competitor. It's about rising above the nerves, the expectations, and the doubt to prove you belong. So take a deep breath, trust your preparation, and give it everything you've got. David, with these incredible stories and words of encouragement, I hope we've done justice to the spirit of Q School today. Shall we sign off and gear up for more coverage of the Asian Tour finals?
Let's let's sign it off. Thanks very much, Alex. I've been really, really delighted to speak to you about Q School today. I learned a lot, because before I came into this podcast, I knew absolutely nothing about Q School, and now I feel like we're in a good place to continue with our coverage and yeah, to bring you guys some unique stories from the most challenging competition on the earth, if you ask me.
Thank you, David. It's been an absolute pleasure breaking down the incredible world of Q School with you. You're right. It truly is one of the most challenging and inspiring competitions in all of sports. I think we're in a fantastic spot now to continue our coverage and bring the spotlight to these amazing players and their journeys. To everyone listening, keep an eye out for more from us at Award. We're just getting started with telling the stories behind the grind, the heartbreaks, and the triumphs of Q School. Until next time, stay inspired, and as always, keep chasing your dreams on and off the course. Thanks for tuning in, and we're wrapped, David. Looking
Thanks all.
forward to our next steps.
Bye bye.